What's going on, everyone? Marc Guberti here. In this video, we're going to talk about how to write a book a month, because in self-publishing, a big part of that game is to publish as many books as possible. The moment you publish a second book, you get the opportunity for returning customers. And when you publish book number 4, 5, 20, and so on, you increase the amount of books that a returning customer can buy. And with more books, you also increase the number of keywords your books will show up for, the amount of ways that people can find out about your brand. So it's no secret that self-publishing more books increases your revenue. And Written Word Media even did a study where they figured out the average author making 6 figures, they have at least 28 books to their name. So that's why it's important for us to write more books. And what better of a goal than to write one book each month? So there are a few different ways to approach this, but all this is really rooted in the habits that we choose, because habits are either going to make or break us. Habits are either going to make it really easy for us to write a book a month, or it's going to make it really hard for us to write a book every year. So the first habit we have to get down is writing. So if you write 1,000 words every day, which is around 30 minutes, especially as you write more often, you'll have an easier time producing 1,000 words in 30 minutes. Then we're talking 30,000 words per month. My books are 20,000 words max, and you could have that for yourself too. And then you're producing at least a book a month with that guideline, and you even have time to look over your work. So when it comes to choosing book topics and actually writing those 1,000 words smoothly, it's important to pick topics that you know, and it's important to do a really detailed outline in advance. The reason a lot of people get stuck with their books is because they don't know how to proceed. And people don't know where to proceed with their books because they didn't take the time to come up with a very detailed outline. So look at a very brief outline and then expand on that a lot more, where maybe we're even talking about like a full page or 2 full pages of outline. And then that's going to give you more than enough content ideas for your book. As you write more books, you'll get a better understanding of how deep your outline has to be for you to have a full book. If you start writing a book with an incomplete outline, it's going to be hard for you to continue writing 1,000 words. And even if you do, it's going to take a lot longer than 30 minutes for you to write those 1,000 words. So putting in the extra time towards the outline, even if it's an hour, I know in the past I've suggested 15 to 30 minutes, but if you commit at least an hour, the book writing process becomes so much easier. About each minute of preparation probably saves you about 10 to 20 minutes of writer's block and time where you're just trying to figure out what to put in the book next. Now, in addition to writing 1,000 words per day, some people go the no content approach. In this case, it's so much easier to produce a book each month. These could be anything from puzzles to journals to workbooks. And my friend Keith Wheeler actually came on this channel, talked a little bit more about no content publishing because he's a pro at that. But you just take one page. We're talking a workbook journal setup for this scenario. You take one page, you repeat it 90 times or 100 times, depending on how many days you want it to be, whether it's 90-day challenge, 100-day journal, or 12-week journey. And you have that as your book. So the book that I have right here, the podcast workbook show notes edition, I use this. It saves me a ton of time with all my interviews because I don't have to go back and re-listen to episodes. I just write the links in that book. Pro tip for all the podcasters out there. I just took one page and repeated it 90 times. And then I maybe added 5 pages of content explaining what to do, having my free opt-in in there for people who want to explore a little bit more for audience building. But you just copy the same page 90 or so times, depending on your book, and all of a sudden you have a complete book. Now, for some people, no content is going to be the way that they go. And a lot of the no content authors I know, like you have hundreds of books or thousands of books, or you're getting really detailed on keyword research. And It's good to be detailed on keyword research in both scenarios, no content and content, but with no content, you have a broader brush. So if you're doing a workbook, you really just need one page. Like, you don't have to know about paleo to create a paleo workbook. You just have to know what types of prompts to ask the people who are filling out the workbook. That's all you have to know. So it's a little different when it comes to the amount of content ideas you can write about for no content versus content. Right now, for me, I like to do no content books around the topics I already do. So podcasting, I already covered that. My daily money journal, which will be coming out soon, that's a topic that I already covered through my work. So you can pick no content books that are related to your existing topic to complement the content books and get your readers from passive to active, because when they fill out prompts, you are forcing them to spend a lot more time with your book and a lot more time thinking about how your book is transforming them. And that's going to build a lot more trust in the long run. So no content books, if you want to publish a book every month, that's really easy. For no content books, I'd actually say publish at least one book every week, just because of how easy it is in no content. I know some authors who at their peak, and this is with software, so I'd kind of shy away from doing this many, but some people, they publish as many as 10 no content books every day. So no content books, they are very easy to publish. So the rest of this video, we're going to talk about content books, because there's a few more strategies that can help you publish a book each month. One of those strategies is to take your old content and incorporate it into your book. So let's say you go for 16,000 words, which is honestly the goal that I go for most of my books. I go for 80 to 100 pages. No, I'm not trying to write something too thick. I'm trying to write something that you could read in one sitting. You could fit in your suitcase more easily if you see me at a book signing event. So I go for around 16,000 words. Well, if you have a bunch of blog posts, a few hundred words here, a few hundred words there, maybe you have a blog post that's 1,000 words. Incorporating those blog posts into your book means you have to write less total new content. So let's say you get 2,000 words worth of blog posts. Now, instead of 16,000 words, it's just 14,000 words of new material you have to write. All you have to do is just shuffle around the blog posts, go into them, remove call to actions like, leave a comment on the blog post or leave a comment on this video if you've been enjoying it so far, smash the like button, things like that. You'd have to remove that and then just figure out a way to better incorporate it within your book. You can even write blog posts with the intention of including them in your book later. So rather than writing blog posts based on whatever idea you think of next, write blog posts based on the book you're currently working on, so that you're putting out some of the content that is growing your tribe, it is growing your platform, but it's also book content at the same time. And this repurposing is definitely going to trim down on the work, and it's also going to help you grow your audience. And even though in like the thinking of the book while writing the blog post scenario, you're still writing the content anyway, that's one less blog post you have to write, and that's again the extra traffic. And one final strategy is my big theme is that there's only so much you can do by yourself. So if you want to grow a YouTube channel, collaborations are vital. That's why I've partnered up with Keith. I've partnered up with Dale. I've partnered up with Stephanie. I've partnered up with a few people to provide you guys with additional perspectives, more content, and collaborations. It's a way for each of the collaborators to get introduced to an entirely new audience. So where this comes in for self-publishing is to find a few people in your industry and co-author books with them. So I'm in the experimental phases with this. I did co-author one book that became a USA Today Wall Street Journal bestseller, but I am taking this a little bit more to the next level. And when you do co-author a book with someone, you have to agree like what word length the book is going to be. So there are some more details you have to work out, since it's not just you, and people have different ideas of the right direction for the book, but it's not as much time to write the book. So if it's a 20,000 word book, you only have to write 10,000 words. for the 20,000 word book to be complete. So it's kind of like leverage. And same thing goes with the marketing. Now you do split the royalties, but if you're happy with splitting royalties in exchange for getting in front of a lot more readers, then it's definitely worth it. And with more people promoting the book, it has a better shot at staying on bestsellers list, doing well in the Amazon algorithm for longer, since, again, it's not just you. There are a whole bunch of other people behind the book. Now, for a lot of co-author relationships, I recommend one author, maybe two authors. If you're trying to be a USA Today, Wall Street Journal bestseller, get as many people as possible. For the book that I'm mentioning that hit those best-selling lists, there were, I want to say, 22 or 23 other authors who were involved with that book. So co-authoring is just a really great way to write more books. But again, it really does come down to the habits. That's the point I emphasized at the very beginning of this video, because it comes down to the work you're willing to do. There are ways to speed through it. There are ways to get more efficient. But at the end of the day, it's about you putting your hands to the keyboard and making the content happen. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe for more. Smash the like button and comment letting me know what part you enjoyed the most. Signing off, dream big, achieve greatness, unlock your potential today.